The FDA is doing what it can to make it easier for mothers to get baby formula during this nationwide shortage. The FDA reached an agreement with Abbott Laboratories to reopen in Michigan after a contamination scare closed it in February. And the White House will allow shipments from sources outside our borders. But the effects won't be seen for a number of weeks. Joining us to talk about what parents can do in the meantime is family physician Dr. Nicole Swiner. Dr. Swiner, a lot of these actions that the government will take, we won't see formula on the store shelves for another 6 to 8 weeks. So parents whose babies are relying on this formula, what can they do when they can't find formula?
Yes, I would always encourage them to check in with their family physician or their pediatrician to see what local ideas and recommendations they have. But if you are used to a certain type of formula, essentially get the type of formula that you can get your hands on, and ask your doctor about certain types of allergies or alternatives that there may be safely for your baby.
So stores have limited supply of formula. Parents might have the inclination to just buy what they can when they see it. Why is that going to make the problem worse?
I think, anytime that there's any type of crisis, we have the tendency to want to hoard and overbuy or buy the wrong type of thing. So you want to make sure you have the right ideas of what you're going in for. If you see an alternative, you want to check in with your physician and make sure that that's a safe alternative. For kids that are older than 9 months, generally, if you're not able to relactate or breastfeed, you may be able to use a different type of cow's milk or goat's milk or pea milk even with a little bit of water dilution to kind of substitute.
Are there any options for WIC recipients?
So the USDA is working with all WIC organizations to see if we can get them to clear getting different sizes. Usually you have to present a doctor's note, or there are only certain types of supplies that you're able to get. Hopefully your WIC will allow you to get different sizes that normally aren't available, or get alternatives without having a doctor's note.
Dr. Swiner, some parents who are short on baby formula, they may be tempted to make their own at home. Walk us through some of those dangers and risks of trying to make homemade baby formula.
Yeah, the recommendation is just not to do it because, our environment at home is not sterile like it is in a lab. So there are definitely more cases of bacterial contamination and possible bacterial infections that can happen. Also, when you're making things at home, you don't have quite the same measurements that are used in a lab. So you may be using too much or too little of a certain nutrient or element or vitamin that is not safe for the baby. And there have been just too many issues, infections, and unnecessarily some deaths that have occurred from making homemade formula. So we would recommend against that.
Such a challenging time for these parents and their babies. Dr. Nicole Swiner, thank you so much for your valuable insight. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome.